Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and if you're here for the first time, it's lovely to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we have no debt at all and we've paid off the mortgage. We live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open our home and invite you in for a midweek money chat. Quite a stiff subject this week, it's quite a big one, isn't it, of go frugal or go broke. Let's get into this. I'm going to start with a disclaimer before I get into the video. You might be doing absolutely everything that I suggest in this video today. You might be already frugal to the nth degree of not being able to put your heating on, not afford to buy new clothes, and you are not wasting a penny at all. And for you, frugality is just not working, is it? And I'm sorry to point out the fact that if you are living in poverty, that the only answer to that is to increase your income. And I'm also going to add this caveat as well. That is not possible for absolutely everyone. You might be 85 years old, living on a British pension in a cold house and doing everything already just to survive. So I'm going to put that out there already, that I accept and acknowledge that not everybody can fight their way out of poverty. None of us are immune from global events, so we can ignore the news and we can turn off the TV and we can turn off the radio and we can sit there and think, well, I'm okay, I've got food in my pantry, I'm okay. But it's still out there, it's still happening. Inflation is still there. People controlling oil prices are still doing that. People controlling wholesale gas prices are still doing that. People controlling trade routes and wars that are going on are still happening. The means of production, of farming everywhere, and especially here in Europe at the moment, are being held hostage literally by fuel prices. So do not think that, well, I'm all right and it's not happening to me. It is there. Inflation is still there. Inflation might be dropping, but it just means that the prices are not all going up so fast as they were before, but they are. We're all of us here just about to accept a 10% increase in our electricity prices. That has a knock-on effect of everything. All those factories, everything, everywhere, it has a knock-on effect. So all of us need to take whatever control we can. We can't just sit there and ignore it. And I'm not scaremongering. I'm not making it up. It's happening. And you can ignore it all you like and think to yourself, well, I'm all right, but it is happening. And when we look at those food shortages out there especially, what does that look like for you and I in the supermarket? It looks like increased prices. What does a war somewhere look like? It looks like increased prices. So we, every single one of us, have to do everything we can to be as frugal as we can. The first thing, and this is an extraordinarily hard message for all of you, is to accept the fact that nobody is coming to help you and nobody can help you but yourself. So anything and everything that you could be doing, you really should be doing. And I know when I share what I do, there's always going to be someone to say, well, I don't want to do that, I don't like that, that's an inconvenience. And I get that, that's your choice. Not suggesting for 1 minute that you do what I'm doing. What I am suggesting is that you do what is right for you to save you money. I'm not messing about here. We're either going to go frugal or we're going to go broke, aren't we? And I know that for us, if we weren't budgeting, if we weren't looking after our income, we would soon be broke. So do everything you possibly can. If it doesn't matter, if you're looking for the best deals in the supermarket, if you're downloading the apps, if you're cutting your energy costs back to the bare bone, if you're doing everything you can to use smaller devices, making less trips in your car, lift sharing, taking your lunches to work, it doesn't matter. If you can do it, realistically, you should be doing it. Because like I said, no one is coming to help you. And sitting there passively thinking that, well, I'm unhappy about this or I'm complaining about that, do something about it. Do whatever you can. No one is coming to help you. Something that's going to really get us through any difficult time is practicing gratitude. And remember this one, there is always somebody worse off than you. And if you want to feel rich at any moment in time, go in your bathroom, flush your toilet, because you've got a toilet. Turn on your tap and it's got clean water coming out of it that you can drink. Turn on the other tap, it's got hot water coming out of it. Walk around your house, turning on and off lighting. You've got lighting. Go upstairs and have a look in your bedroom. You're not sleeping on a floor, you're sleeping on a bed with warm sheets and warm blankets. Look at your clothes. You are clothed and you are warm. And then reflect upon your own safety and how you live in freedom and how you live in safety. And when you've done all that, count your blessings and realise how incredibly wealthy you are. And all of those will get you through any difficult times. The next one, as harsh as it sounds, is for people to stop buying. And there's loads of it out there, isn't there? We don't need 6 streaming services to our house because most of it is a pile of junk. You've seen it before. We do not need to spend our money on knick-knack and frippery. We do not need to. We need to be saving for the things that we practically, really, absolutely need. The new car, because you've got to get around. The car service, because you've got to have the car serviced. Your dental treatment, because you've got to have your teeth fixed. We need to be directing our money, not to the silly things, but to the solid, practical things that we really need to get by. I'm going to put a disclaimer in here and a caveat in here. You could be watching this and you could be very much like me. You could have all your finances all sorted out and all your savings. I'm not saying never spend your savings on things that you saved it for and things that you want and things that you like. But you'll soon have more savings if you stop buying crap. The absolute, indisputable basics of frugal living is that you live off a written budget every single month. Even if you're on a fixed income, your outgoings are not fixed. They need to be planned for every single month. You need to know of every single penny going in and every single penny going out. All those bits and pieces that you're not budgeting for, all of that would be concluded in discretionary spending. That needs to have a line on a budget. You need to stay within that amount. And I can't reiterate this enough. We're going to put a link below to one of our budgeting videos. It may not be the way you budget. There isn't a right way or a wrong way to budget, but the wrong way is definitely not having a written budget. And the right way is having a written budget. So you plan in advance every month where your money is going to go. Track your spending. It's another absolutely non-negotiable part of frugal living. Every single penny that you spend, you need to be tracking it. Even if it's a cash expenditure and you've taken the cash amount out and you've logged that cash amount in your budget book, every single time you buy something, can I have a receipt please? Even if it's only a €1.50 cup of coffee, can I have a receipt please? Put that receipt in your purse and when you get home, write it down in your budget book. And every time you look at that, and you can think to yourself, ooh, that's €7.50 I spent on coffee this week. And it might seem small, but it really, really does matter. It matters for you to know where your money is going. Because when you know where it's going, that's when you can start and say, I think I can make some cutbacks, or I think I can make some savings. And it is the drip, drip of money that eats away at our budget. It's the €15 here on Amazon. It's the $1.50 for a coffee. It's picking up something in the supermarket that wasn't on your shopping list. Track every penny, every month, watch where your money's going, and then you can decide, can I cut that out? The biggest thing that keeps anybody broke will be debt. And right now, if you want to really get a grip of your finances and rewrite your script for a better life, is to pay off that debt. And to pay off that debt, you've really got to commit to not buying any junk, not buying any rubbish, not buying any, literally going bare bones budget for as long as it takes to pay off that debt. Look into debt snowballs and what that means. Look into a debt avalanche and what does that mean. Mike and I were in debt once, massively in debt, and we went completely stark with our budget until we paid that off. And then we never, ever borrowed a penny ever again. And all of that money that we were previously paying into debt then went into savings, and it transformed our lives. But I cannot reiterate this enough. Do not sit there looking at that debt. Pay it off. Let's talk about the difference between macroeconomics and microeconomics and what that looks like in your home. Now, whenever I'm on any of the money saving forums, anywhere, especially on Facebook, and people start asking for money saving advice, and they'll say, well, did you turn up? I really need to save some money. I really need to embrace this frugality. What do I do? And people start giving them the micro. Well, what you need to do is get all your vegetable scraps and keep them in a bag. And then when you've done that, you're going to make stock. Stock cubes cost what? €1. That's not the big picture. You start off with the macro. You start off with getting yourself on a budget. You start off with paying off your debts. You start off with stop buying crap. You start off with making sure that everything on your budget, that you stick to it, that you track your spending, and you make sure that you're looking at every cutback that you possibly can. That's the big picture. The roof over your head. Have you got too much on a car payment? Have you got too much on a house payment? I know it's really difficult to say that at the moment. Could you move to an apartment instead of a house? Are you paying too much on rent? And I know it's extraordinarily difficult in every developed country of the world at the moment. And people in underdeveloped countries are facing even bigger problems. But there we go. Take the macro first. Have you got your big priorities sorted? Stop worrying about stock cubes and start worrying about saving for your pension. Stop worrying about stock cubes and start thinking about paying off the debt. The big things first. Focus on the macro and then the micro. Now let's get into the micro, and I will be as quick about this as I possibly can because I could go on all day about where we can and do save money. If I reflect back to when Mike and I were working, Mike was working in a local government office and I was a teacher in a school, and both of us saw people picking up their lunch from the supermarket every single day. And back then in 2018, a meal deal was £3 a day. Well, on a 40-week school year, that's £1,200 a year. I saw colleagues come to work with a coffee from a coffee shop, well-known one, every single day. That works out another £400 a year. That's £1,600 a year just because they didn't want to bring a sandwich and a flask to work or make a cup of coffee. There was a kettle in the staff room. They could have done it themselves. There's those small things that we still do now. We have 3 no-spend months a year. We try and put aside another £1,000 a year into our savings. Last year we didn't buy any clothes. Our clothing budget was £600 a year. We put that into our savings. And you might think, well, all of these are really small. Do that for 10 years. Do that for 10 years. That's your new car every 10 years. I think you could just about buy a car in France now for €16,000. You wouldn't get much, but you would be able to get a car. Definitely, maybe about a 6-7-year-old car, you might be able to do it. But they really make a difference. Cutting back those little bits every single day, we know make a difference to us. And this is something I'm going to share with you. If we didn't, if we ate out on a regular basis, if we bought clothes whenever we wanted, if I had a manicure, and I would love to have a manicure whenever I wanted, if I bought makeup, if I had my hair done all of the time, if we went on day trips, if we went and had mini breaks, we did all of those things, we would be broke. And the reason that we're not broke and that we can save is because we don't do those things. I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video. We know some of you out there are barely making it, and frugality is the only thing that's stopping you from literally either freezing or starving. We know that's happening. We're not naive about that. But I'm going to reiterate what I said at the very beginning of this video. Right now, for even those of us who've got a comfortable standard of living, if we were not frugal, we would be broke. That was a bit of a go big or go home video, wasn't it? And no one likes harsh messages, and I certainly don't like giving them out, and I don't like to do harsh things myself. But it is increasingly more difficult to save money, and we've got to do whatever we can. Share with me, what of those that I've suggested today are you already doing? Are you tracking your spending? Are you living on a written budget? Have you cut out buying crap? What are you doing? Are there things that you've cut back on? Is it making a difference? Is it keeping you solvent? Is it giving you a way of saving a bit of money? We read all of your comments. We enjoy all of them. And thank you so much to everyone for watching. Thank you especially to everyone who hits the like button. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.